Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome to another episode of Life with Shenita. I am Shenita Connolly, your host for this evening, and I am delighted to celebrate moms. We know that Mother's Day is coming up on Sunday, and I want to recognize some amazing mothers tonight. Not only the mothers that will be a part of this broadcast, but mothers everywhere, because without mothers, there would be none of us. So I am so grateful to be called a mother. And although I don't have my mother with me today, I cherish her memory and who she was to me each and every day. So I am just so excited for my guests and for you guys to meet each of them and to celebrate with us this evening. So before I bring those beautiful mothers in, I am going to introduce my co-host for the evening, who is an amazing friend who also has so many memories of time spent with his mother before she passed away. He's the baby of the bunch. He's been on the show many, many times. So I'm going to bring my friend Wendell Limitless Hollins to the show. Good evening, Wendell.
Good evening and happy Mother's Day to all you mothers who made us fathers.
I'm so grateful to have you to share this occasion with me. I know how important your mom was to you, and I immediately thought, you know what? I'm going to ask Wendell to join me for tonight's broadcast. So thank you for saying yes.
Oh, you're very welcome. You know I'll do anything for you.
Oh, I appreciate that. So without further delay, I'm going to share just a little bit about the show. I'm going to turn my phone off to make sure I don't have distractions. And I'm going to just share a little bit about tonight's show and the critical role of a mother. So, as I said earlier, we're celebrating mothers. So, mothers play a critical role in the family, which is a powerful force for social cohesion and integration. The mother-child relationship is vitally important for a healthy development of children. Mothers are not only caregivers, they are also breadwinners for the families. Many of us have multiple roles. Not only do we care for the home, we care for the husband, we care for the children, we care for people on the job, in the church, in the community. We wear so many hats. And I just wanted to make sure tonight that we recognize some important women in my life, some important mothers in the lives of their children and their family members and their friends. So, Wendell, share a few moments about your beloved mom.
One thing, the best thing about my mom was one time my grandmother got sick. We lived in Cleveland, Ohio. My grandmother lived in a small town in Georgia called Tallapoosa. My mother had just started a job, single mom with 4 kids. Grandmother got sick. She said, "I'm going." We were like, "Look, Mom, you just started this job." You know what she said, Shenita? She said, "If a job doesn't understand I need to go at this time, I don't need that job."
Mm,
And she inspired in me the importance of focusing on your priorities. Her priorities was her mother. Regardless of having 4 kids, a single mom, she went, and guess what? We made it.
yes,
You
yes,
know.
yes.
So she
That's
was a very powerful lady. Fortunately, in December of 2018, she caught on fire, and she was in the hospital for 5 weeks. I'm laying beside her bed, and I had to authorize them to take off her life support, which is the hardest decision I've ever made in my entire life, including 2 bouts with prostate cancer. So she was my heart. She was my soul. I love her to death, and I miss her, and she made me the man that I am today.
yes. Well, I'm glad to know you. And I didn't know your mom, but I could tell that she was an amazing woman. And so I'm grateful to
Thank
know
you.
you, which means I know a part of her.
Absolutely.
So, so thank you for joining me. And so, with that being said, we have some amazing mothers to celebrate tonight. So let's bring them in, and I'm going to bring them all in at one time, and then we'll let them introduce themselves to the audience. How about that?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So first up is Yolanda. Hello, Yolanda.
Hello.
And Theresa. Hello, Theresa.
Hi.
And Tia. Hello, Tia.
Hi,
Hello,
everyone.
everybody.
And Chanel. Hello, Chanel.
Hi.
And Jennifer. Hello, Jennifer.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
And last but certainly
Hi.
not least, Michelle. Hello.
Hello.
So welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank
We're,
you.
we're so glad to have you all and to celebrate motherhood with you all tonight. So, with that being said, let's introduce yourselves. So, let's start with you, Yolanda, and we're going to do a round table.
Sounds good. Hello, my name is Yolanda Clark, and I have been a mother for 40 years. I have a 40-year-old son, and I have a 36-year-old daughter. I have 6 grandchildren. My oldest grandchild is 17. He will be graduating next month from high school. Yes.
Yes.
And my youngest is 8 months old. So I've been doing this thing for quite some time. I'm on round 2 of it, and I tell everyone that grandchildren is God's gift for you not killing your own kids. I love it. I have 2 amazing children who are wonderful human beings and who are really contributing good things to this world and are raising wonderful children. And that's all you can ask for.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it. Theresa.
Hi, my name is Theresa Taylor Williams, and I bring you greetings from a little rural town called Emporia, Kansas. And I'm a mom of 2. I have a 25-year-old, 2 sons, 25 and 21, and I have a 3-year-old grandbaby.
Awesome. I love it. And let's come down to Tia.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tia Howard. I might be the one that have the youngest children. I have a 7-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old son.
Awesome. I love it. Chanel.
Hi, guys. I'm Chanel. I've been a mom for 22 years. I have a 22-year-old daughter who's in college, an 18-year-old daughter who's a senior in high school. She'll be graduating this month. And I have an 8-year-old Tia. On your bus, too. I have an 8-year-old son.
That's a big
I
gap.
jumped off the wagon. I did. Yeah.
She jumped off the wagon and jumped back on, right?
But
you got your little pets, though.
Exactly.
Jennifer?
I have a 31-year-old daughter, Whitney, who is a public defender here in Escambia County. So very proud of her.
Awesome. Yes, a mom of 1. And were you an only child too, Jennifer?
Yes. Yes. My mother wanted more, but
It stopped with you.
that's right.
Yes. And last but certainly not least, Michelle.
Hi, I'm Michelle Scott Thomas. I am a mother of 2 daughters, a 24-year-old and a 22-year-old. I have my first grandbaby. She's 6 months old. So I'm excited about celebrating Mother's Day this year as a grandmother, as a Mimi as well. So that's very exciting and very happy to be here tonight with these great ladies to share their motherhood journey.
Yes. I'm excited and honored. And so, with that being said, let's just kind of dive into a few questions that I have for each of you. So, if someone sat in front of you today and wanted to know from each of you, if you could turn back the time and talk to your 18-year-old self, what would you tell her? Let's start with you, Michelle.
Okay, I was going to say, so we're going to go round table again. So that's a great question, and I love that question. So I'm ready to jump in on that one. I would tell 18-year-old Michelle to take it easy on yourself. Give yourself time and trust the process. life is a journey, right? So we get so anxious to get to the destination sometimes that we don't enjoy the journey along the way. I would encourage 18-year-old Michelle to enjoy the journey and trust the process.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it. Jennifer?
I would just say that I would tell the 18-year-old Jennifer to have had a little more faith in herself during that time and to be strong and be confident and may make a strong individual.
I love it. Chanel?
I think mine kind of echoes everything that Michelle said. I would tell my 18-year-old self that she was doing fine and that perfection is not the goal, that it is indeed a journey, and that all of the things that she looks at missteps, they're just preparing her for the longer journey.
I love it.
Gentle with herself.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Go easy. Tia?
I would say not to be so hard on myself and to love myself more.
So important. Self-love.
Yes.
Theresa?
I would definitely say that to trust your gut, that we all have intuition, and trust yourself. It's there for a reason. And a lot of people they dismiss it, or all the time you hear people say, well, I knew I should have, something didn't look right, or what have you. So I would definitely say trust yourself. If it ain't right, don't do it. If it doesn't feel right, yeah.
I love it. Yolanda?
I would say invest in yourself and know your worth.
Yes.
Know your worth and surround yourself with people who will enrich your life and pour into you, and until you become the best you. And I would also say don't get pregnant at 19.
If I had the opportunity to speak to my 18-year-old self, I would tell myself to be obedient to my parents. One of the lessons I learned later in life to be obedient, because they've been down the road, and I would have saved myself a lot of heartache and pain had I been obedient. So that's like a major one for me. And I want to mention my mother, Bertha McCants, who was so absolutely amazing on so many levels, and who taught us the importance of family and the importance of a relationship with God on a personal level, and exemplified it on a regular basis. And so I just want to acknowledge her as well throughout this show. And Wendell keeps going in and out, so connection is not so good, so he may not be able to join us. So those are great questions. So with that being said, how has or what has been the best part of your motherhood journey? What has been the best part of being a mom? Let's start with whomever.
I can jump in since for me, it's been watching my children evolve into just the wonderful human beings that they have become, and seeing myself in them, and just seeing the different ways and the different mannerisms, just little things that I pick up that they like. That's me, like little parts of me that I have these two wonderful human beings that are just kind of fragments of me here.
Yes.
And also, I mean, there's really no way to adequately convey just the depth of our emotions that we feel for our children, but it's just watching them grow and evolve. And I kind of have it twofold, because I can see the world through my eyes and both my children's eyes. So it's just seeing them grow and evolve.
Yes. Michelle?
I love that, Yolanda, because I was going to say, when Shenita first asked the question, becoming a mom, and not just becoming one in birthing the child, but becoming in the evolution of what it really means to be a mother, the depth of those emotions that you're talking about. But I would also have to say, also watching my daughters become has been a great joy and a part of being a mother. Motherhood is such a beautiful journey, and it's a lifelong think. Like there's a start, but there's no finish, right? Because no matter how old your children get, you are still their mother. And if your children pass away, you're still a grieving mother or a mother with loss, but you're still a
Yes.
mother.
Yes.
Once you become a mother, you're always a mother. And so that's one of the great honors of just gaining that title, I think is an exciting part of it for me.
Yes. Jennifer, I love it.
I really want to say that I think that watching her compassion for others and seeing that every day, because she still lives with us, and we just that her compassion for individuals that can't help themselves. And I never really knew what she goes through every day, but I know that it's a struggle sometimes, but she's there for others, and it's beautiful to watch.
I
So
love it.
it's
And,
really
and I'm sure she's who she is because of who you are.
Well,
When someone else said, Michelle said, or was it Yolanda who said, fragments of herself
Yes.
through her children. And so what they've seen, what we've instilled, what we've modeled, is they take that on, which is the beauty of it, being able to see it as they grow up and to become adults. Like, wow,
it's amazing.
it is amazing. So Tia.
I love how to watch my children bond with each other. And also the affection that they display with me and that I display with them. I think that is the greatest thing. Like after coming home from work, you having a hard day, and when you walk in the door and your children like, "Mommy," that is like the greatest feeling ever.
Yes.
So even though you like, oh man, you feel like you come into another job once you leave your
Right.
full-time job, but just to see that brings so much joy. So it makes being a mother all worth it, just to see them brighten up when they see you.
Yes. Chanel. I love
For
it.
me, I would have to say that it is the lessons I learn about myself in parenting them. Generally, the things that I would find myself fussing at them about or teaching them about, God is like, well, So for me, it's been that I've gotten to parent myself through parenting them. The areas that I missed, I get to catch by parenting them.
Oh, that's so true.
Yeah.
Theresa.
That's good.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
I
indeed.
don't even know where to start. I have loved being. I'm an empty nester now, and I have loved being a mom. I loved being a sports mom. I loved it, and if I could go back, sometimes now I dream about my sons being smaller, and I think it's because I miss that. And my husband passed 8 years ago, and I think one of the best things now for me is I see him in them, and I'm so grateful that we left a legacy together. Our love is walking around in these two young men. When I see them, I mean, every time I see them, I just see these beautiful young men, and I'm grateful. And also I had to say a good thing is they keep me near the cross. Having adult children, like for some reason, I thought at 18, okay, they're good, fly away, little birds.
Nope.
No, ma'am.
I mean, my
No, ma'am.
knees, I'm praying more, because they're, making decisions and things that are sometimes, not what I would want, but it's just sometimes motherhood is I don't know. It's so bittersweet, at least for me,
Yes.
because you just want to protect them, and you want to, and you have them, and then you're supposed to just let go, And so I'm really right now, I go in seasons where I struggle a little bit, but in the end, I just have to. My faith tells me they were His first, and
Yes.
so I have to really lean on that. Because in my head, I think nobody can take care of them like I do, but I have to really release them. So, but yeah, I love being a mom.
And that's true. I'm glad you said there are seasons because on this journey, my next question for each of you is, what has been the most challenging part of being a parent? And for me, um, it has been my son being away and making a decision that was so opposite of what he was taught and how he was
Yes.
raised.
Yes.
And so I struggle with that even on my best days, wanting him to be present, wanting him to have made different choices because um, you see things that they don't see.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I've always wanted to do a show on reverencing our parents because I think sometimes children forget that the reverence or the respect, meaning obedience, from parents, particularly, and I'm not going to say just moms, but particularly moms, because moms spend a lot of time trying to mold um, and teach our children because many times dads are working and moms are the ones who are doing a lot of the care. But it is a challenge, especially when you've done things that you thought would set them up for this path, and then they take a different path. And God
Yes.
had to remind me, you took a detour
Mm.
and you're okay.
Yes.
His
And you're
journey is
okay.
his journey,
That's
and you
right.
got to
That's
be
right.
okay because
Yeah.
I did loan them to you.
And we didn't always listen to everything our parents said,
We
did
did
we?
not. We did not. We did not.
And a lot of our greatest lessons came from those things, and so we
Right.
we desire to protect our children from those things, but sometimes it's not as much protection as we can hinder them as well.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have to at some point, that's the interesting about motherhood and parenthood in general is you don't really get to know how you're doing along the way. You really don't know if you did a good job or not until the
Right.
end, right? You don't get graded along the way. You do the
Mhm.
best you can with what you know and with what you have at the time, and then you hope that that's enough, and you pray that God will fill in the rest. And
Mhm.
then there are times though that there are decisions that are not made and there are things that go a different way, but
Mhm.
oftentimes those are the things that make their journey. That's how they get what they need out of their journey. And so
Yep.
we have to learn to appreciate those times as well and have as
Yeah.
much grace for that as we have for, or people had to have for us when we took wrong
Right.
turns. And remember
Yes.
that God does allow U-turns,
Yes.
and he will
Yes.
allow us to
Yes.
turn around and come right back.
Yes. And I'm so reminded of that, and by others and myself, I have to
Mhm.
remind myself of that. That's their journey, Shenita. You
That's
can't
right.
control everything in life.
Right.
You can't dictate everything.
If we
So
could, we would though, wouldn't we?
Right.
we would. We protect them from
Everything.
everything.
That's
But
right. That's right.
as
They
you
live in a
said,
little bubble in the back of the house somewhere, you know.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So I'm grateful that I have my beautiful daughters with me, and my baby girl is actually here for the week, and so I'm so excited.
Yeah.
She had some vacation she had to use, and she decided to come home and spend time with us.
Oh,
So,
that's awesome.
yeah, so I'm grateful for that, and so I'm even grateful for my son and the bonus sons from my
Mhm.
deceased husband. I learned a lot on the journey. There were many challenges, even as the blended family. And a lot of times people don't think about you get married again and now you're blending a family, and what does that look like? What does it feel like? How does that play out? You know what I mean? Are you going to be received and welcomed and or not? And
Mhm.
so that can be a challenge too. So, anyone want to share like the challenges?
I would say one of the biggest challenges for me is when my grandmother passed, and to see how hard my daughter took. At the time, I want to say Faith was 5, so it was a lot of transitions for her during that time, because this is when COVID happened, so the economy shut down, and right after my grandmother passed. So to see her grieving in a different way in spite of my grief. So it was hard to try to balance that, to have time for me to grieve, and also be there for her. And to hear her where she'll say stuff like, "Oh, mommy, I saw an airplane in the sky, and I want to get on an airplane so I can see grandma." So to see her grieve at such a young age, and then also, I think one of the hardest, one of another hard challenge. Both of my children have IEPs. So to go through that, and you go through the guilt, like, is it something that I have done, or could I have changed it, or could I put more effort here versus in here? So that was, at that time I was beating myself up and was like, well, maybe if I did this differently, they wouldn't have an IEP, or if I, spent more time in this area in their life, so that was hard too. But now they're striving.
I love it. I love it. And every child is different.
Yes.
And one of the lessons for me was parenting all three of them the same way. And I had to learn that it doesn't work.
Exactly. Right.
You have to parent according to the child's
Yes.
personality. And even with education, every child is different. We may think, well, I wonder why they didn't get it like such and such. And we shouldn't compare or shouldn't think anything less. Is just that child. That's who they are. And we work from the position of where they are. So you're still a great mom, regardless to any of that. And like you say, they're thriving now. So that's the best part. Anyone else have a challenging area or area? Yeah, Chanel.
I just wanted to say that for me, the grandmothers and mothers that we had, they were not always forthcoming and honest about how hard it was to actually be a woman and to be a mom. And so one of the great challenges for me was I am having my own life going on while I'm trying to form and fashion these little human beings, right? And so
balance.
you don't understand that this was not an easy thing. And so
Right.
with my kids, I've had to tell them on occasion, I'm giving you love that I don't have. I got to make this love for you. I have to make this energy for you and this excitement because I'm going through struggles in my own life, and so that was indeed a challenge, feeling like the slave sometimes, feeling like the this and the that, when you're a person as well, um, yeah, people make being a mom look easy. This thing is not hard. It's not easy if you do it halfway right. So that's just me being honest.
Yeah, and you're right, and it is a challenge, and we do have to share with people there are joys of it, and then there's may not be as many down parts of it, but then there, and then you might have some parents who never experience any down parts. You know what I'm saying? I believe my brother Ricky and his wife had a model child, raising a model child, their child that they had, which was unlike some of the challenges that I share with my girls. You know what I mean? In terms of the parenting piece. But the relationship piece might have been the challenge, but not the being a mother piece or raising that girl. She was kind of a model kid. But yeah, when you have challenges, whether it's personal challenges, relational challenges, work challenges, child challenges, all of that combined, and you're trying to balance this thing, whew, sometimes you want to clock out.
Absolutely. And just as a segue, Chanel actually has the perfect segue to one thing that I was thinking, which was one of my challenges was learning how to balance all of the requirements of me in being a mother. So it is learning how to balance all the things that it takes to still show up to kids who think my mom is superwoman. While mommy is just trying to make it through the day. And so we do become that. We evolve into that. That's a process that I think she's right, that people don't explain to us and really can't tell us. You have to see that. You have to be that and experience that to really understand what that is and what that means and what that looks like for each individual person. But I am grateful for that journey, because I think that in that, what has been both challenging and rewarding for me is for my girls to get old enough to see that mommy's not perfect, but she is doing the best that she can every single day to show up and be the best mother that she can be. And so she is the perfect mother for them, because she has done all the things that they need and made sure they had what they needed and all of those things. So I salute these 6 beautiful mothers that are on this show with me tonight, for all that you do. If nobody has told you, I just want to say thank you. You are doing a great job. You are Superwoman. No, you're not perfect, but you're getting it right, and you're getting it right more than you're getting it wrong. So keep on going. You've got little people, big people, whatever. They're relying on you and they're looking to you. And you
Yes.
are a great mother. So thank
Yes.
you.
Amen.
Thank you, Michelle. That's
Amen.
why I just love me some Michelle.
Absolutely.
Anyone else want to share some of the challenges? Anybody,
I would say having. Oh, I'm sorry, Jennifer.
Go ahead, honey. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, the challenges of when we were talking about different personalities. Like I have one that was very extroverted, and then one was very introverted, and the extrovert kind of sucked a lot of time from my husband and I, and to the point to where when he moved out, I was like, and it was just myself and my youngest. It was like, who is this? Who is this child? I had to really get to know him because he had flown under the radar for so long and just, quiet and kind of trying to do the right thing. And the other one was, a little squirrely and so it was just, like you said, adapting your parenting style to your child, because what works for one does not necessarily mean it's going to work for, and the needs are different. And and it was a real challenge for me. And even still, I wrestle a little bit with, am I giving too much to one and, not the other? So
the balancing act. And I think, we have to be very intentional about planning time with them. Whereas one may not ask for it, the other may ask for it. And so we have to be very intentional about scheduling that time.
and it doesn't mean they don't need it, because we can't assume, oh well, they're doing good. We can't assume that they don't need from us.
One
And
of the
that's
best parts.
Oh, I'm sorry, Shenita.
Go ahead, Chanel.
I was just going to say that's one of the things that I do religiously with my children, because I was one of 3. I plan individual outings with my children. They don't have to be anything grand or big. My eldest child needs one thing, so she and I do certain types of things. My 8-year-old, that's a whole nother story. We do things. And then with the middle child, because when everybody's together, the child who's the most vocal is going to get the most energy and attention. And I understand exactly what you're saying. There's only one me, and the outings don't have to be long, but I do make sure that I spend individualized time with each of them. And it's good for all of us.
That's so important.
Yeah.
Wendell, do you want to share anything with the ladies? I know you've heard them sharing.
Yeah, the one thing that I wanted to share is kind of what I'm dealing with today. You women are so powerful as mothers that you can overcome anything. I got off work at 4:30. I hung around at 6:30 just so I can make sure I had a great internet connection, and it did not work out. And so now I'm doing the best that I can, and that's like my mother said. You do the best that you can, and you let that be enough. So it's not the best internet connection, but I'm here. I hear your stories. I appreciate you. As a father of 4 and a grandfather of 8, you are doing an amazing job. Just continue on. And if I could say one thing to encourage all of you, show yourself some self-compassion as mothers.
Yes.
And how to define self-compassion is give yourself the advice you would give your best friend in a situation that you're in, and then take action on it. It's not being selfish. You can't take care of your kids as mothers unless you take care of yourself first. So I admire all of you. You're powerful Black American queens. I don't expect any less, because Shenita is a powerful Black American queen, and she only associates herself with other powerful Black American queens. So I commend all of you on being the powerful mothers that you are, and happy Mother's Day in advance.
And one of my friends is not an African American queen, but she's a queen.
She's a queen.
All right. Well, she's an honorary
Yes. So we appreciate you, Wendell. You are always the best, and I appreciate your efforts to be here. I know the connection is not that great. You were excited about being at work, as Theresa had to remain at work too. So we're just glad to have you here. So as you know, let's continue our little conversation before we get into the really good part. So as young adults, what was there any advice that someone gave you when they knew you were expecting, like, or even as a young person? Here is some advice that you need to always remember as a parent. Anyone want to share?
When I was my daughter, the 22-year-old was probably 2. One of my coworkers was dying. He had cancer, and so we went over to his home to visit with him. And you know, little kids are always into everything, and they embarrass the heck out of you. You want them to be still. And so he said to me, and that was the most valuable piece of advice. He said, "You raise your kids at home."
I love it.
Don't go out correcting them, doing all of this stuff at the store, whatever. You raise them at home, and how you raise them at home is how they'll behave. I said, "Doggone it, that makes sense."
But you know, but let me share this with you. I was a parent educator for many, many years, right? After I made all my mistakes, I became a parent educator with the University of Georgia here in Clayton County, the extension office. And I learned that you can't expect a 2-year-old to sit still. And I'm just saying, we would want them to sit still. And so they can't sit still. So I learned that after I made all the mistakes in the world. Don't expect them to sit still. They don't know how to do that. So we have to be mindful of what the environments we put them in, because but I thought they're supposed to sit still. So I want to beat them. So my kids have some stories, boy, about their childhood. Ooh-wee. Yes. So I learned that they can't sit still. So be understanding and passionate about the process of developing. As a kid, that's what they do. They explore.
They sure do.
Yeah.
I think, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I think too, one, that is going to take a village. You can't do everything by yourself. And I think one of the funniest ones, I'm really not a drinker like that. And I know when I used to go out with my friends and stuff before I had children, they were like, "Oh, once you have children,
you'll start drinking."
Start drinking. And I was like, "No, that is so true." Like, that is so true. You like, when you put them to bed, you be like, "Oh my God, I need a drink." It's just so funny because I'm really not a drinker, but
it take the edge off.
Times change.
It take the edge off.
I guess I was lucky not to pick that part up. I guess it was so long ago. That must be recent years. Right. 20 years ago, we weren't drinking.
So anybody else got some good advice when they were, I like that one Chanel shared.
I don't think that it was as much as of what someone said as what I saw modeled before me, and then how I had to grow to understand what that meant. So my mother was divorced when I was 4, so she was a single mother essentially of 2 kids, 2 small kids, and so she worked a lot, and she did everything. She was mother and father in the home. She worked a lot, 2, sometimes 3 jobs. She raised us. She helped in the church. She helped in the community. She helped take care of seniors. She was there to help and serve my grandparents. So she just did it all. So what I saw modeled before me was that as a mother, you're supposed to do everything. And you're not supposed to get a break. And if you get a break, if you need a rest, then you're not a good mother. Like, you don't have this thing right? So that's what I thought, because that's what I saw. But it took me time to grow into understanding that what I knew that my mom didn't know was about self-care and about self-love
Absolutely.
and about the whole concept of put your mask on first before you know, help the person next to you. And so I constantly say to myself, sometimes I just got to stop and put my mask on first.
Yes.
So that's been a piece of not so much advice, but it's been something that was shown to me about what motherhood is, that I had to grow to learn for myself, that that's not what it is for me. That can't be what it is for me, or I can't be the mother that I need to be.
I love it. That is right on point. Put your mask on before you can help the next person, your
Absolutely.
children and your grandchildren. I like someone said the village. And it's so important to have a good village in your circle. And
You know,
even with this 10-year-old that I have here, I have to reach out to my village from time to time because I need Shenita time.
oh,
You know what I'm saying? Because it's almost like doing this thing all over again. Chanel.
Absolutely.
So Jennifer, you were about to say something.
I just think that when you're getting ready to go through everything, you worry about everything. You worry about everything under the sun. I don't know if any of y'all have read Michelle Obama's book, but she says it best when she says that everything's already determined. Everything's already. So all that worry that you have on all these things, and yes, we have to guide and we have to help, but it's already decided. It's already been decided. So don't look to let the worry go.
That is so true. That's like a confirmation because someone just said that just recently. You have to respect the fact that things are predestined already.
They are.
And so we put a lot of energy into things and want them to be a certain way, but a lot is already it's life, the journey is predetermined. The number of years we have.
That's right.
Like I didn't want my husband to leave 7 years ago. Like what?
There is no
single mother for 20 years, 22 years until we married. And now you bless me with a man and only for almost 4 years or almost 6 years total. Like really, Lord? But the blessing was the experience.
Yes.
So I have to really think about what if I never had it?
Right.
I wouldn't know it. So I had it, so I know it. So I try to look at the positives, but yeah.
It's gifts. It's just
Gifts.
every second's a gift.
And we're becoming, as is her book is becoming, right?
Becoming.
So we're all becoming, even now. We're still
That's
becoming the best version of ourselves.
That's right.
Anyone else
Better
want to
person
share
every day.
Anyone else want to share anything as we get ready to share a closing piece of advice to someone that may be watching who's struggling as a parent? And then I have like some special announcement stuff to do.
I just have a quick thing to share because this was so powerful for me. But I mean, most of the moms on here, I think we're all around the same age. So we're kind of in that middle generation where we have our mothers, some of us, and then we are mothers. And then some of us are even parenting mothers. But in 2011, January of 2011, my mother passed away. So in May of that year, I was so grief stricken. I had decided I am not celebrating Mother's Day. I mean, there is nothing to celebrate. I don't have a mother. God took her from me. I am not celebrating Mother's Day. I was determined. If I could have erased the day from the calendar, I would have done just that. So on that morning, I woke up and I laid in bed, pouting with myself and God that I am not getting up and I am not celebrating Mother's Day. So my daughter, who was about 8 at the time, came in to me and she said, "Mommy, what time are you getting up? Because we're making breakfast for you for Mother's Day." And so I looked at her and I thought, and I actually said to her, "I'm not celebrating Mother's Day." And it was as if God himself said to me, "Because your mother is gone, you can't take their mother." And so I had to really take a look at that and just kind of become a big girl and decide that I had to get up, not for me, but for them, because they deserved to have a mother. They didn't deserve to feel what I was feeling at that moment, which was the loss and not having somebody to celebrate in that way. And so I immediately got up and I had whatever it was that they had put together that was cold by the time I got to it, but it was the best breakfast ever. And so it's like, it was just such a lesson to me. It was so poignant just to me at that time that, okay, your mother is gone, but you can't take their mother as a result of that. And so that really has stuck with me over the years. Every time I think about, I don't have anybody to buy a Mother's Day gift for, and I get into the woe is me, then I'm just reminded, but I have people who are celebrating me for the mother that I am, and I can't take that away.
Nope. I love it. Well, as we prepare to kind of wind down, and I have some special announcements and treats for us. Wendell has some technical issues, so he had to log off. But is there a piece of advice that you'd like to leave someone who is watching? Everything we've said has been great advice, and I hope that they are noting it, putting it somewhere, or what have you. But if there's something that you want to share, even advice, and even your business, your ministry, or what you're doing, or a way to contact you, I want to give you guys that opportunity to do that before I do my little special piece. So, Yolanda?
Yeah, I guess I would give them the same advice that I didn't take myself, which is don't be afraid or too proud to ask for help. There is no trophy out there saying Queen of Motherhood and you're going to get this for doing everything yourself. I was always the one. I could sit there and I would not ask for help because it's my children. I'm going to take care of them. I had them. It's nobody else's responsibility but mine. I was a single mom and I was determined. I'm going to do this because I know I can. Many times that I know I could have had help and I should have asked for help. And I was just in this little island by myself. I did a great job and raised two wonderful kids. But if I had to do it all over again, I would take the village, Tia. I would take it. I would ask for help. I would bring everybody on board and help everyone raise it. And a lot of times we think that, oh, they're not going to do it the way that I do it. They're not going to feed my kids the way I want them fed. No, they're not going to dress them the way I want to dress them. But so what? They're going to get dressed. They're going to get fed. And just ask for help. Just ask.
Yes.
And we're not, autonomous like that. We have to have extra help.
Yes.
And it's better for them to have all the different experiences from different people.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's
great advice. Is there anything
advice.
Related to like your business or?
Well, me personally, it's me. I'm at a turning point in my life. T.D. Jakes said, if you can't figure out your purpose, find your passion, because your passion will lead you to your purpose. And so I just recently went back to school. I graduate next month with my master's degree.
Congratulations to you. Yay, Mom.
Thank you. I graduate next month.
Yes.
Go ahead. But and I got accepted to the doctoral program. So I will start I will be 60 years old next year. And I figured this is my window of opportunity.
Do it.
To do what I need to do. I want to teach. That's my main goal, and that's why I'm going back. I want to teach. I have so much in here, and what good is it if I can't share it?
Yes.
And teaching is the one profession that creates all of them. So this is what I'm going to do.
Yes, I love it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Awesome.
And one more thing, we got these TikTok challenges out here. My grandson and myself have a graduation challenge, and that's why we're back in school.
That's nice.
We're both class of 2022.
And also, Yolanda, tell them that you're a dancer. Ball, is it stepping or
all of it?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yes.
I do ballroom. I do salsa. You name it. I started that when Shenita and I we're kind of trauma bound from the loss of a loved one, but we have this trauma bond. But I was actually engaged to be married, and he passed away from cancer. And just like Shenita, I asked God, why would you bring this wonderful man into my life just to take him away from me 2 years later? And then one day, I just woke up and said, how selfish am I? We made plans to spend the rest of our lives together, but God's plan was for me to spend the rest of his life with him. That's all it was. And once I realized that,
right there,
I was good.
Yes.
I was good.
Theresa, anything you'd like to share about your business, your ministry, a piece of advice?
If I can share a piece of advice, it would be, please, and no judgment. This is not judgment. This is just gentle advice to, mothers, children, I'd say minor children. Please be careful what you speak over them. Speak life. Don't call them bad. Don't call them, because they're not. They're gifts. They are true. That's one thing I appreciate about my husband and I, that my late husband and I, we didn't know parenting, but we knew what we didn't want. And I sleep at night because I know that we truly tried to just surround them with love and affection, because this world is already hard enough. And I cringe and I hurt when children are spoke to harshly, or called names and things like that. But I just want to, I guess I would just say, Yolanda, I'm right with you. I'm back in school, getting a second master's, and I was led by the Lord to get this MS, the social work master's, because I want to work with grievers. I lost my husband 8 years ago after a 2-week diagnosis with leukemia, and it has been nothing but devastating for my sons and I. And I'm a poster child for what not to do with grieving. And I mean, it's my passion now. I started a virtual grief group for spouse and partner loss. And Yolanda, I would love to talk to you more. And Shenita, I have a podcast called Just a Widow Talk, and I interview spouses and partners who have lost, because people don't understand us. We are a very interesting and unique lot of people. And I just want to get stories, amplify the voices of grievers, specifically spouse and partner loss. And it's it's hosted by, I've been picked up by the Mental Health News Radio Network. And and don't know Shinola about podcasts, but that's God.
There you go.
He's like, I qualify you, just go and do it.
Yes.
So I am determined to bring good out of grief. I'm determined because it has kicked my years. And I'm blessed, and it's painful and it hurts, but if I can just help others through it, that's all I want to do. That's all I want to do.
Thank you. Tia.
My advice, and something that I do with my children, talk to them, ask them how they feel. The world is cruel. It's not like how it was when we were growing up, and these kids nowadays are dealing with far worse stuff than we did when we were growing up.
Yes.
So I make it a habit to say, how you doing? How was school? Like if I see them mad or something and I'm like, what's wrong? And I know my daughter, she'll be like, Mommy, don't worry about it. And I'm like, I am worried about it. I'm your mother. It's my job to figure out what's going on so we could try to fix it. So I would definitely say, talk to your children. As a mother, have me time without feeling guilty. I know sometimes as moms, we'd be like, oh, I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have got to a point now where I tell my kids, listen, Mommy need a moment. Go upstairs and play. And they expect that. And then now they'll go upstairs and I won't see them for hours. And I have to actually go check on them. But it's important that you make time for yourself as well and not feel guilty that you're spending time by yourself or you're enjoying stuff that you love. It's you can't lose yourself being a parent.
That's
and
right.
a lot of times we do that. We get so engrossed with our children, and that's when they get older and leave to go to college, we don't know what to do with our life.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you have to still, be yourself and do the stuff that you still enjoy and not feel guilty behind it.
That's great advice. Woo.
I took my son to college fund and bought a BMW because he went in the military. So I want a BMW. I love it. Ready for a bit of guilt.
No care. That's right. That's right. That's right.
He went in the military. I said, why? I said, bought a BMW.
Yes. Love it. Yes, indeed. Michelle?
That's good.
I would actually little of what Tia said, which is really just about giving yourself grace to grow in this thing, because it is a continual growth and evolution, and give yourself the grace to do that. Take time for yourself, and by all means don't lose yourself. Because I remember when I first became a parent, I had one of my best friends from college. We would get together at least quarterly. We would just grab lunch or go to a movie or do something and just talk for hours. And so we touched base at one point and realized it had been almost 2 years since we had literally gotten together. And we were both in the metro Atlanta area, 40 minutes apart. But life had just gotten so busy, and I had gotten so lost in being a new mom and doing all of those things, until it was like, I had to really think about where Michelle was in all of that. For example, we were getting ready to plan a vacation, and I think my husband had asked me what I wanted to do. And I thought, I don't even know. I don't know what I like to do. I know what the baby likes. She wants to go to Disney. I knew what he liked. He wanted to go to the beach. But I didn't even know what I liked anymore. So I had to start thinking about, what do I like? What do I want? I'm going to do that. And making time for that, making space for that, and not feeling guilty about it, not feeling like I have to apologize for taking a moment, but understanding that I have to refill my cup so that I can keep pouring out to everybody else. Right. And so all the mothers that I see here, you're killing the game at being a mother. Yes. Take care of you. Yes. So you're taking care of your kids, you're taking care of your grandkids, you're doing those things. Love on you. Dance a little, buy the BMW. I love it, Yolanda. Yes. But take care of you. Give yourself the grace to say, I need a moment. Mommy needs a moment. And take a moment. Yes. And take however long that moment is. Take that for what you need to be the best version of you, for yourself and for your children.
Yeah. That's right. I love it.
Shenita, can I comment on something?
Yes.
I'm back. Yolanda, I'm back. Technical difficulties not going to stop me, just like nothing stopped my mother from raising 4 kids by herself. All mothers, I've talked to so many mothers, and I admire y'all. You put yourselves first, and that's admirable, right? And I say, well, why don't you take time? I don't have time to take for myself. And what I said, just take 6 minutes a day, 5 days a week. That gives you 30 minutes to yourself. And that will get you started on creating a habit of putting yourself first, which will, believe it or not, help you be a better mom to your kids.
Yes.
My perspective. Just food for thought. All right.
And absolutely. That was good. That was good. Jennifer?
I just think that we have to keep being positive with ourselves and continue when we're talking to our children. We always want to, I think that you always say when you're working with them is don't do this and don't do that, but come up with something positive that's great that they're doing, find it, and just it changes their attitude and it changes yours. And that positive, keeping that positive attitude with them when you want to choke them.
Right. Thank you. I have a rising 6th grader. So thank you. I needed them to be reminded of that because they change. Like I don't know you. Who are you? Right. Oh, okay. Thank you for that. Now, last but certainly not least,
I think what I would share with parents is to be honest with yourself about what it is that you need. I think that they think we're superheroes because we always make it happen, but we have things going on in our own lives. We have to address our own grief and our own mental health and our own physical issues and our own spiritual issues. I think making sure that we have an adequate support system and spaces in life where we can be honest and not always have to be on all the time.
Yes,
I think that's the biggest thing, because if not, we're living a lie and then we're resenting them quietly because we're living a lie. Yeah.
And we're teaching them to live a lie.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So just creating pockets of space where you can be truthful and grounded and honest.
That is amazing advice. Thank you. I don't know if anybody else missed sharing their business, where people can reach you. If you have a business, a website, information. Jennifer, did you want to share yours?
Mine is jenniferponson.com. And I have it's a very weak website right now because the stores, but very, very excited about it.
What stores are you in?
Well, there are 55 separate stores, but they're all throughout. Just recently have one in called Symmetry, which is in New Orleans, and you
Nice.
shop in New Orleans Children's
When
Hospital.
you on the next month, I'll see it. I'm gonna check it out.
Yep, and Chanel is from Louisiana.
Exactly.
You know.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I love it there.
Yeah,
Me too.
big easy.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I always think that we should be celebrated. And so God always drops on my heart things. Sometimes it's in advance, sometimes it's not in advance. And so when he dropped in my spirit, make sure that you do something for the mom so that they can know that they're loved and appreciated. So I reached out to several of the men in my circle and asked them to, in honor or memory of their mother, to make a tribute or a contribution to each of you. So I want to share the men.
That's nice.
And each of you guys will receive a $25 cash app for lunch
Sweet.
from each of them.
Oh, very
And
Blessing.
so
Nice.
the first one is Cornell Mcbride, and his sponsorship is in honor of his beloved mother, Miss Debbie McKenzie. She's still living, but she suffers with Alzheimer's, and so she's in a facility. But when I asked them, and I text and ask because I my time is so tight, and for them to say yes without even questioning, and I said, would you, sponsor one of my mothers in honor or memory of your mother? And so Cornell McBride said yes. And then another friend of mine, Mr. Gamaliel Turner, in loving memory of his beloved mother, Miss Johnny Mae Turner Walton, who passed away some years ago. And another dear friend that I grew up with, Vincent Washington, in loving memory of his beautiful mother, Miss Daisy Washington, who they grew up 2 doors from me, and she was like my second mom, in loving memory of her. A dear friend of mine, Daryl Lewis, whose mother is Miss Mary Lewis, who is actually 87 years young, still living and thriving.
Wow.
And my dear friend, colleague, Mr. Floyd Gant, who owns Edward Jones in Fayetteville, in honor of his beloved wife, Tangi Gant, and his mother, Miss Gloria Gant. And then my forever brother-in-law, from my first marriage, in memory of his beloved mother, Evelyn Scott. And so each of you guys will get a $25 cash out
That's so sweet.
from
Thank you.
them to take yourself to lunch or breakfast or do
very
something
sweet.
special for you. And so, Wendell, I don't know if you had anything you wanted to share, but as we prepare to close, but I wanted to just make it celebratory because I think it's important for us to celebrate life, because we have this Mother's Day, but we don't know what next year Mother's Day will be like. So I always want to seize the moment and make sure people know that they are thought of, they are appreciated, and they are celebrated. Because once there's no more, there's no more.
Thank you.
Mhm.
What
Right?
I encourage all the
That's
mothers
it.
is to be like my mother, and that is to live your best life. My mother is the only person that I know who truly believes that everything works out together for good.
Amen.
So on this Cinco de Mayo, that all of you beautiful queens, whether you're Black American or not, thank you for correcting me, live your best life fully.
Yes.
Show yourself self-compassion so that your sons and daughters you've been great mothers for, you will take them to the next level. And as Shenita knows, my purpose is to leave a legacy for the next 2 generations of Black Americans. That's not taken away from anybody else, but if you're laser focused on your purpose, and another friend of mine today said, her purpose is to take care of her 2 sons. I'm 100% support of it. But what Shenita is doing here, communicating with all of you mothers and tying you all together all over these United States, is more powerful than you know. And please, please, please,
Yes.
do not take that for granted. So thank you for Shenita been the wonderful queen that you are, the wonderful mother that you are, the wonderful grandmother
Yes.
that you are,
Mhm.
and the wonderful friend that you are.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
you.
I
Thank
appreciate you
you.
more than you know. And I love
Shenita,
you ladies. Yes.
Nada, I echo what Wendell said, and thank you for being the beautiful person that you are and the beautiful friend that you are, and for just having such a big heart that you would share this platform
Yes.
with all of us. It's an honor, and I appreciate you for that. So thank you very much.
You're
Yes.
welcome. Love
Yeah.
you,
And
Michelle.
I just want to jump on what Michelle said. When we first got on, I texted my girlfriend. I was like, Shenita looks so beautiful. I just wanted to thank you. Like, you don't know how much you encourage just by sharing all of the wonderful things that you share on Facebook and on your journey. And I didn't realize, like, I've been in tears almost the whole time I've been sitting here because I have been so overwhelmed as a mom lately. My kid had prom, she's graduating, the other one pledged, she's in college, I got an 8-year-old, and you're doing it all by yourself. And to sit in this energy, this beautiful energy with these moms, I didn't even know I needed this. You know, you're asking me, but this was for me. So thank you, ladies. Thank you, Shenita, for always being obedient. I didn't even know I needed this.
Yes, you got it, girl.
And you know, that's the beauty of life. And I think it was it Theresa or Jennifer. It's already been predestined, right?
Oh my.
And everybody was dropped in my spirit for a
Oh.
specific reason. And I just learned to be obedient because remember what I said earlier,
Absolutely.
in my 18-year-old self, if I could go back, I would say, be obedient. And so I just knew that I had to ask you guys. And I'm just always honored when people say yes, particularly when I know that it's been dropped in my spirit for a reason. And I'm like, okay, this was for a reason. And I know that I'm going to get a yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you for asking us. I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Thank you, Shenita.
Honor, honor.
You're welcome. It was just an honor to share this moment, to celebrate each of you. So please inbox or text me your Cash App so that I can send you your Cash App gift because that's exactly what it was. It was a gift from the men,
Beautiful.
and I appreciate them feeling like it was worthy enough. Yes, absolutely, I will. I will do that. So
Absolutely.
yes, so we celebrate you all today and always.
Thank
So
you.
thank you all.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you and your everyday journey and that you share
Absolutely.
your journey and it helps. It's uplifting to everyone. You're an inspiration. Always
I was
have
just
been.
gonna say inspiring.
And Jennifer helps me remember what it was like in high school. She'll say, I remember you in speech class.
You cooked in speech class. And, kept
I
our,
would,
kept
if,
our
if you
attention.
ladies wouldn't mind, I would love, love, love to keep in touch with all of you.
Absolutely.
So, Shenita, can you make that happen? And
Yes, I
share
will.
info, and I would love to. If it's
Yes.
nothing more than just text and say, hey, Queen, how's your day?
Yes.
Exactly.
I think that's so important to keep connected with people.
Yes.
As you said, Chanel, the energy. And God knew you needed to be sitting in this space, in this place for this hour and a half.
Yes.
So I'm just grateful. And thank you
Yep,
guys.
the
for sharing
village. You
your
need a
heart.
village.
Yes.
Yes,
If
you need
I
to do
relate
it.
to the heartland, I got somewhere to stay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yes.
Exactly. And of course we have the beast right there.
Yes. Wendell.
Wendell, your wedding date is when? Next year?
A year from this month.
Nice.
So
Nice.
next
Congratulations.
May.
Yeah, I will be marrying the love of my life, the wonderful, the elegant, the outstanding Denise Marie Warner, and she
That's
is
right. You celebrate her.
Kobe Tony Warner, and she's got my heart, and I
Oh,
make
That's
no apologies.
awesome.
That's amazing.
Yes. And
congratulations.
Chanel, she's an attorney too.
Nice. Nice.
Mhm.
Yes,
Jennifer,
she is.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Well, thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Yes.
So happy Mother's Day, moms, to you all. May
Happy
you
Mother's
be
Day.
celebrated in whatever way that you desire. this year and each and every day. Just remember, I love you, but God loves you most, and He loves you best.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
And to our audience, thank you all so much for watching, staying present with us. We're a little past an hour, but we appreciate you for celebrating these beautiful mothers today. Happy Mother's Day to any mother out there, and may you be celebrated as the wonderful person you are. To everyone else, have an amazing rest of your evening.
God bless.
As we say, beautiful people. I am going to try to close us out. And believe it or not, my screen is looking a little bit different than it normally does for some reason.
Take your time. Take your time. Take your time.
Okay, I'm going to do just that. I might need to have Madison.
Yeah, because they can do it.
You know, Madison is my sidekick, my
Tech support.
Yeah.
he is. She really is. I don't know. I'm sorry. Hold on, guys. You guys can talk though while I figure this out.
Oh, are we still live?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh, so you guys can talk.
They don't talk too much, huh?
I know,
Right.
right? You gotta be careful what you say. You know?
Right. That part.
I'm gonna do an impromptu spoken word. Mothers are about a 4-letter word. It's called love. Just like the wings of a dove, flying high above the earth, filling us with laughter and so much mirth. Don't take your love and who you are for granted, because as men, we just lift you up and lift out a mat. You are so wonderful, you are so pure, and you make us feel so self-assured. So don't take yourself for what the world says that you are. Be true to yourself internally, and you'll go very, very far. Happy Mother's Day.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I know, speaking of Mother's Day, my husband called me earlier. He was like, "What do you want for Mother's Day?" And I was like, "You know what? After this year, I want a day just to myself." Like,
That's what my daughter asked for.
I
A
hope
day off, huh?
That's what my daughter asked for. So I'm picking up the keys
Yes.
tomorrow.
I'm like, to get a hotel room, to be with other mothers, you know, and just have fun and not worry about your kids, not worry about washing clothes, not worry about doing nothing. And he was like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "Yes." So from next year, I just want to be by myself.
That's it.
That's it. That's the best. That's a great Mother's Day to me.
Indeed.
Yeah.
That works.
Yes, because I had to put y'all on mute for a second because my kids were coming down. I'm like, what's this?
There's a wonderful thing called a lock on the door.
Oh, yeah, but see, I'm in like the living room. So yeah.
Common area. That's a common area. Everybody gets
Yeah.
common area.
They coming downstairs like whispering,
Exactly. And they're being quiet. They think they're being quiet, huh?
Right.
Yeah, and I didn't want to get in trouble. I saw she need an email. And I'm like, I didn't want to get in trouble. So I'm like, go upstairs.
I had to give my husband some marching orders because now he's feeling slighted. Like, she's still down there. Like,
Yeah. They just can't, you know, it's
There's another wonderful thing called a taser.
oh no.
you know, I'm law enforcement. I have one of those.
Yeah.
You're bad.
Jennifer's daughter is gonna prosecute you. You better
Listen,
stop.
I have one of those.
I'm a mandated reporter, so
Exactly. All of this law enforcement.
Listen,
Yeah.
we got everything. We gonna I'm gonna catch them. Yo, yeah, somebody gonna prosecute them. You gonna counsel them when it's time to leave out. When they get on probation, they're gonna come and see social worker.
yeah,
So
I'm still at work, so I'm gonna go.
and I'm getting ready to log out. So hold on, hold real tight.
Okay.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.